Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox. With me is Ben Olson. We're the founders of lsatdemon.com and our weekly podcast, Thinking LSAT. Got an email here from Steven with the subject, Law School with No Intention of Practicing Law.
Hey, Ben and Nathan. Love the show. I know you guys hate it when someone goes to law school knowing they don't want to be a lawyer, but hear me out. I'm a senior manager at a major tech corporation, and there is a massive shift happening in our industry regarding governance around AI and data. I think a JD would be a huge executive asset to my resume in that specific area. Why not an MBA? Steven asks. Why not a master's in computer science? I don't think I could get either of them for free, and an MBA is boring. I also own and operate an almond farm in Northern California and think a law degree would be incredibly helpful for navigating water rights, USDA compliance, etc. And yes, I know I could just hire a lawyer, but I want the operational knowledge myself. The plan right now is Arizona State, Syracuse, JDI, or Purdue Global. Just kidding. Okay.
Why is that just kidding? What's the difference? You're doing an online JD. What's the difference? But
yeah,
go ahead.
If your goal especially is to learn. But anyways, Stephen continues, I have a 3.14 GPA. My last LSAT practice test was a 170. And I got a 159 on my diagnostic. It's possible that I have blinders on and am prestige chasing. My wife is an MD, so that might have warped my perception. I know, would love your insight. Lastly, I currently don't have a drinking problem and think law school could correct that personality deficit. Okay.
You're probably correct.
Yeah.
Substance abuse issues are rampant in the legal profession. So, yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I mean, could your JD on your resume be an asset? It might be. That would be a question that's unique to the jobs that you're applying to. Whether that's a valid status indicator is a different question. I don't think it is, but if it is, then it is. So there might be two different questions here. Are you going to get that status indicator on your resume and that actually has meaning in the jobs that you're applying to? Or are you going so that you can learn something? In both cases, yeah, I might have a different answer. Do you see different questions here, or is that?
Oh, yeah.
Framing? Yeah.
Because he's talking about his, you said almond farm, Ben, but the people who actually grow them, call them almonds, believe it or not. I'm from an almond town. And,
almond?
I don't.
So you drop the L and you replace the O with an A.
Makes no sense to me. But the people who my grandpa had an almond farm and called it an almond farm. And my parents still say almond. It pisses me off. I definitely say almond. But if Steven grows them in Northern California, I'm guessing he says almond. It's embarrassing. Cool. But yeah. Anyway, he says, I think a law degree would be incredibly helpful for navigating water rights, USDA compliance, etc. I'm going to call bullshit on that. Go read books about water rights. Go get on Wikipedia, have Claude or ChatGPT tutor you on water law. That would be vastly faster and more interesting.
Well, you could apply it to your specific case. That's what's so amazing about AI, right? Yeah, there are hallucinations and things like that. But at the same time, you can say, well, hey, here's my specific issue, and here's my neighbor's specific issue, and this is what I'm trying to do. And it's going to take you down a path that's going to get you an answer to your question within a day.
Yeah. And by the way,
maybe a week at most.
You're going to have to hire a lawyer anyway.
Yeah.
It's not, I'll go to law school so that I can learn the knowledge myself and then represent myself. No, not unless you're going to specialize in this area of law. And even then you probably wouldn't represent yourself. So
well, notice what he says, I want the operational knowledge. You're not going to get the operational knowledge on navigating water rights in law school.
You might have one class. I took a class, actually. I went to law school in California. I took a class in California water resource law, but the syllabus for that class is publicly available, and you could just read all the same shit. And you could do that today instead of applying to law school, waiting a year, you're 1L year,
Taking
you're
the
not taking
LSAT.
any electives. You
Yeah.
know, like you could get around to learning this stuff, Stephen, 3 years from now, maybe. Or you could do it way better yourself by just doing the research. Like just start right now and just do that instead of wasting your time trying to get a JD. Now,
Yeah.
so yeah, as far as like when anybody says I want to do it for the education, I'm like, oh, bullshit. That doesn't seem like a good plan. You shouldn't do it for the education because you can get the education for free. You should do it for the credential. So, you know, again, law school is like going to Hogwarts. You really shouldn't do it if you don't want to be a wizard. If you do want to be a wizard, maybe it's like kind of what you have to do is go to law school, get a JD so that you can sit the bar. Stephen is asking specifically, putting the knowledge issues aside, because I don't think that's a very good reason. He's asking specifically, oh, well, I want to get, promoted at Mega Tech Corp. And it's possible that Mega Tech Corp, they have wildly misled themselves and think that a JD makes
Is
him
an executive asset.
Yeah, makes him a better. I mean, that's dumb of them. That's so dumb because you don't know shit if you don't actually practice law.
Yeah.
It's more just like, oh, this is an additional little bauble on his resume, and we've got a stack of people here. We can only promote one of them. Oh, let's promote the guy with the JD.
Yeah, it's just it's a hoop. Did you jump through more hoops?
Exactly. Like, yeah, he's got to be smart enough to get into law school. He's got to be hardworking enough to like actually do the work. But it's not like they think you actually know anything, or they don't know anything.
Well, okay, so let's talk about assets. Let's assume for a second that it is an asset on your resume.
Sure.
The question is, okay, what's the cost to get that asset, both in terms of time and money?
Yeah.
Versus other assets. That can't be the only asset. There must be other assets that would determine your promotion, such as who you know, who you work for, what they know about you. Even like, there's this phrase, I think it's from Keith, I forgot his last name, Fazarazi or something. I'm messing that up. But anyways, he said something, I think he said it. He said the power of loose connections or something. And the idea, it's always stuck with me. It's the idea that someone who has loose connections with a lot of people tends to go further than someone who has deep connections with a few people. Not that there's anything wrong with deep connections, but like that wider net is going to, at least in terms of career, is going to lead to a lot more opportunity than necessarily a really deep but narrow net. So anyways, Stephen, are there other assets you could develop that would be 1, more interesting, 2, faster, and 3, cheaper?
Yeah. I would imagine that Mega Tech Corp is gonna, what they really want is somebody who knows something about governance of AI and data.
Yeah.
But there's nothing stopping Stephen from learning all about that shit either. Like, you want to know about governance around AI and data, you need to be talking to Claude and ChatGPT about governance around AI and data. They're going to give you the links to all the important papers. You could start going to conferences on this type of thing right now.
Make connections. Yeah.
Law school is the worst place to learn about this shit. Are you kidding
They're
me?
so far behind. Yeah.
Oh, they're going to be a mile behind. You're going to be in there reading like Blackstone treatises, the Magna Carta and all this shit. You're never going to get around to talking about AI and data. Not for years. By which point it's going to be like way too late. If he could make a meaningful, I would be looking, if anything, I'd be looking for like certificate programs maybe.
Yeah.
But You could start reading books right now if you legitimately wanted to learn about AI and data, or if you wanted to learn about water rights, which, that's two very different things. But if you wanted to learn about those things, I think you should just go learn about those things instead of getting an all-purpose degree focus. You're going to be taking torts, you're going to be taking civil procedure
You're going to
and
show up for one day and the
crim.
teacher's not going to be there because they're on vacation, but they're going to claim that they're sick. So then you're going to have to watch some video.
You're going to have a guest speaker who's going to just ramble to you about whatever their special interest is. And then later in the week, you're going to have another guest speaker in a different class, except it's going to be the same guest speaker. And they're going to still be rambling to you about that same boring topic that has nothing to do with the things that you're actually interested in. I mean, it's just an unbelievably big waste of time and energy unless you need the magical certification to practice law. If you need the blessing to sit for the bar, that's what you get the JD for. But if you don't need the magical priestly blessing of a JD to sit the bar, then I don't think there's any good reason to go.
But that analogy is humorous in part because I think that's where the graduate robes come from, right? It's almost like
obviously.
Obviously,
it's the priesthood of the law. I was watching, I can't believe I turned it on, but I actually watched the State of the Union last night.
Yeah.
And you got the justices sitting there in their robes, and that is 100% that's the secular priesthood, because they know the magic language of the law.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that they are, that's not the route to become an expert in any particular area of the law. Not unless you're going to make that your career and practice that area of the law for 15
other
years.
people. Yeah.
You'd have to go work in a firm, and then the firm would teach you about the actual practice. I would recommend you, Stephen, go teach yourself these things. And as far as it relates to your farm, you're going to teach it to yourself. Absolutely. So that you can be better at talking to the lawyer, because you're going to have to hire a lawyer.
And know who to hire. I respect that.
And know if they're full of shit.
Oh, yeah. Sound like, let me just hire anybody. But
save yourself a ton of time, save yourself a ton of legal expenses by having your shit together, right? Knowing they're not remedially teaching you topics because you went out and did the research yourself, because they actually apply to your business. Anyway, we should probably wrap it up for Stephen.
Yeah. Email daily at lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.